In southern Myanmar, the Dawei people have forged an intimate bond with the sea that surrounds them. Communities are scattered from village to village along the coastline, stretching over hundreds of kilometers. The lives of fishermen and sailors alike are punctuated by the tides of the Andaman Sea. Over time, the Dawei have learned to cope with currents and winds. They worship the spirits of the sea that protect them, paying special attention to the celestial body responsible for the water's ebb and flow, the moon that watches over these isolated people. Kuong Mu is a Dawei fisherman. He lives with his family in a village located between the sea on one side and a river estuary on the other. Is this your village?
Yes, you see, all these houses belong to fishermen like us. They live here with their families. We're about 1,000 people in total.
When the tide is high, the water level in the river is high enough for the fishermen to get their boats in and out. Is this the centerboard?
Yes, we stick this piece of wood in the water. It increases stability and prevents the boat from capsizing.
Kuong Mu lives in the outskirts of the village upriver. To reach his house with his boat, he has to pay close attention to tidal movements. Is this where you live?
Yes, that's my house over there.
Over there?
Yes, over there. I live with my entire family. There are about 15 of us. My brother-in-law, Susu, and my 13-year-old son usually come fishing with me.
Is it important to work together?
We're very poor and we don't have a lot of resources, so we have to rely on each other. If I had to pay employees, it would be even harder for me. It's easier to fish with my family, on top of being less risky and more profitable. I'm lucky to have them.
Kuong Mu lives in the southeast of Myanmar, in the mountainous Dawei Peninsula. He resides in San Lan, a small village overlooking the Andaman Sea. How convenient. Once the boat has run aground on the sand, the last few meters to the house are traveled on foot, in the winding river between the houses. Ma Chu, his wife, prepares the meal in the middle of children, cousins, uncles, and aunts. They all share a single house and live in the same room. We set sail with Macho and her sister Chuche towards the village. Do you always go to the village by boat?
Actually, it's more convenient. When the tide is high, we use the boat to get to the shops quicker. And mostly it's less tiring than walking.
Once ashore, Macho takes us on a tour of the village stores. That's chili, right? She's hoping to find the missing vegetables to go with tonight's fish. And what's this?
It's salad. You can eat the leaves if you like.
You buy all this stuff here. Don't you have this at home? Don't you grow it?
Having a garden is a lot of work. In our family, we're lucky to have my husband, who's a good fisherman. He brings us fish and sells some too. That enables us to buy vegetables. It's much better that way.
While we're out shopping, Kuong Mu prepares his boat for his next fishing trip. Sometimes he leaves for 3 or 4 days at a time, weather permitting. Ice is essential for preserving the fish. At least it's refreshing. A family friend and I give him a hand. She's got strength and balance. Yeah, a piece of cake. It's super heavy.
No one in the village is rich, so everyone has to work. Women, men, everyone has to contribute. If a man can carry ice, so can a woman.
In this part of Myanmar, the tidal range, which is the difference between high and low tide, is quite significant. It can reach about 7 meters. San Lan's low tide prevents most boats from heading out. And as the days go, more run aground on the sand. As time slows down, life in the port adjusts to this new rhythm. The women dry the fish caught by the men that morning. The river is now reduced to a small trickle of water. The children seize this opportunity to take a dip. For Kuong Mu, it's time to maintain his most precious possession, his boat. He burns dried coconut leaves to protect the hull against salt and parasites. Are those critters, you think?
Yes, they're small parasites that eat away at the wood and damage the boat.
Does this dry them out?
It's pretty efficient. They don't like smoke, let alone heat. I have to take care of my boat. It costs me a lot of money. To get one, you need to be able to borrow money, either from your family or shopkeepers. They have to trust you to pay them back. I was very lucky. They knew they could count on me because I'm a hard worker.
To the Dawei, everyone's fate is decided by the gods. So, to curry their favor, Kuong Mu often ventures into the forest in search of offerings.
See up there? We're going to get the coconuts from the top of the coconut trees.
There's a lot of them. It's really high up. Are you the one climbing?
I can. I used to, but now I let the youngsters do it.
Yeah, I get it. Wow, it's really high.
Go for it. You can hang the coconut on the rope.
Careful.
Go.
Okay.
Coconut trees are very useful to us. As you've seen, we use their leaves to clean our boats and their bark to seal our hulls. And we eat the coconuts and use them to make offerings to our gods.
Here's a whole bunch of them.
Go ahead, you can let go. Just go easy.
Everything is used. My hat's off to you. I'll try to train over the winter.
Look at this. These nuts are the most precious ones. When the nut has a stem like this, we use it to celebrate our sea god. It makes a good offering, but only if the upper stem is perfectly straight, firmly attached to the coconut, and above all, horizontal.
It's valuable because it has everything.
Yes, but most of all, it has this specific stem. That's what makes it valuable. That's what really matters.
Like this?
Here we lead a quiet day-to-day life. We Dawei are like that. We don't really think about the future. It's hard for us to envision what will be. For me, fishing is my daily routine. It's my life. I work day in, day out to feed my family. Besides, when I get more than I need, I give it to the village monks. What matters is to have just enough to live on day after day.
And to preserve this day-to-day life, is it important to honor the spirits?
Yes, religion is very important to us. We believe in Buddha, and especially in U Shing Gyi, the god of the sea. He brings us the luck we need for bountiful fishing. He protects us and allows us to earn money when we need it. We must try to be on good terms with him, otherwise bad things could happen to us. U Shing Gyi is our god, the one we worship every time we go out to sea. It's very important for us to respect these beliefs.
You have a large family to feed. Is that a big responsibility?
It's a constant pressure. Fishing is never guaranteed. Sometimes you hardly get any fish. Other times the weather prevents us from going out to sea. I need to bring in almost 70 kilos of fish on every trip to support everyone, pay for fuel, buy supplies. You see, the god's help is useful, but still, all this pressure keeps me up at night.
In the early morning, we meet on the shore. The fishermen are waiting for high tide to set out to sea. Kuong Mu uses this moment of peace to share with me his prayers to U Shing Gyi, the god of the sea.
Look, the moon is almost full. It's time to make good offerings, because during the full moon, tide is very low, and the boats can't go out for several days.
It's beautiful.
The moon is beautiful for sure, but for us, it's annoying because we can no longer fish. Here's everything we put in the offering basket to celebrate U Shing Gyi. There are even cigarettes. I make similar offerings to our God on a regular basis. I give him all sorts of things so that I can rest easy when I go out to sea. Sometimes I'm gone for several days. So it's important to give U Shing Gyi what he needs. That way I can have peace of mind.
Here we go.
Here we go, my friend.
By mid-afternoon, the tide is finally high. We can embark for 2 days of offshore fishing. The fishing zone is quite far from the village and requires several hours of sailing. On the eve of the full moon, most of the boats are out at sea, hoping to take advantage of the strong tidal currents for good fishing.
Why are all these boats all lit up? They're covered with lights.
What you're seeing are lights used to attract fish at night. They're placed on long poles, and when the fish come towards the light, the fishermen cast their nets. It's very effective fishing. Would you like to get a closer look?
Not all Dawei use the same fishing techniques. Some of them have opted for larger boats, allowing them to carry a lot of equipment. At night, their luminous poles light up the surface of the water, attracting fish by the hundreds. We try to get closer, but the fishermen, worried we might damage their lights, ask us to keep away. Kuong Mu decides not to dock. He prefers his own way of fishing, more familial and rudimentary. Having a smaller boat implies less pressure to make it profitable.
Tonight, we're having squid with rice.
Do you always cook the same thing?
No, we usually eat fish, sometimes raw, but we can't tonight because it's too windy. We'll have to wait for the wind to die down a bit, maybe in an hour or two, before we can fish.
Is it always this quiet?
Actually, it's never quiet when you're at sea. Quite the opposite. You have to pay close attention to what's going on, and you always need someone to be on the lookout. If you notice a strange light approaching, you need to turn everything off, weigh anchor, and flee. It could be pirates from Bangladesh. If they catch you, they'll throw you overboard and steal your boat. They're not afraid to kill.
We fished all night, taking turns sleeping and watching the horizon. Kuong Mu spends an average of 20 days a month at sea. Oh, I've got one. Great. There you go. Beautiful catch. Do you enjoy coming here?
In the morning, like this, there's a soft light. It's very relaxing. I feel at peace here at this time of day. And most of all, it's a good time to fish. On mornings like this, fish willingly take the bait.
The tide is now too low to return to port. So we drop anchor on this deserted beach. For a long time, the village of San Lan was very difficult to access. This remoteness has preserved its environment, which is still virtually intact.
Now we need to collect firewood to bring back home. Let's make a pile on the beach before loading the boat. You got it? You see, I learned to swim before I could even walk. The sea has always been part of my life. My earliest memories are all linked to an event that took place at sea. As a child, my father taught me to identify fishing grounds, to sail, and to live in harmony with the sea that I love, and that's always surrounded me.
Back at the village, we join in the preparations for the full moon festival. Like all the inhabitants of the peninsula, Kuong Mu builds a shrine in his garden. This is where he'll place offerings for the gods. It caught me off guard.
Yes, they wait for the right moment. As soon as they hear specific words in the prayer, it's the signal that they can pounce on the food. By eating the food offered to U Shing Gyi, the children embody the appetite of our sea god. It's an old tradition that's still very popular.
Ah, yes.
Like this? When night falls, the entire family makes paper balloons. Once inflated with hot air, they take to the night sky glowing just like the moon. These balloons symbolize the Dawei's communion with the lunar star, which has been setting the rhythm of their lives for centuries.